Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we're going to be talking about Heroes of Heartland. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see our videos as they come out.
Alright, so Heroes of Heartland, it kind of has like an RPG style thing going on, where basically you're these adventurers, you're going to this unknown land, you're trying to explore it, settle there, kind of get all the resources, kick out all the creatures and stuff. You might even fight each other along the way, but you're kind of constantly faced with this internal turmoil. Are you going to be someone who's kind of, peaceful and agriculture-y and all that stuff? That's the word.
Agriculture-y?
Agriculture-y. Or more warlike and aggressive-y.
Aggressive-y.
Also not a word. Let me show you what it looks like on the table. Alright, so here is our board for Heroes of Heartland. Now, before the game even starts, we take the time to kind of build this area up. This kind of this land that we're discovering. So we have a starting forest tile, and then everyone kind of builds around this inner circle, and then eventually the outer circle as well. And everyone also places their own home base. In this case, we have, our little mine there, our hero, our little miniature hero guy, some meeples, which are our troops, and also a bridge out into the wild. So the game is going to take place over 4 rounds. Up here we have the kind of a round card, and each round is going to have 6 turns. So we have these little turn tokens over here as well. On the 2, 4, and 6 rounds, all of our mines are going to replenish and get new resources. So wherever your mine is, it gets that resource. So for instance, home base gets you gold, but the forest gets you lumber, the hills get you stone, and you get metal from the mountains. Those are the hardest to get, so they're also worth the most. And the golds are considered wild. Alright, so you're going to send your little minifigure out on these adventures, on these quests. He's going to do some exploring. So, you're going to go through these different areas. The forests are kind of the easiest ones to get accomplished. You're going to flip over that top card from that green deck, and you're going to see what it says. These guys are really easy to defeat. They all have really low stats, but you also only get, 1 experience maybe. And you're trying to use that experience to build up your own stats. Once you get to the hills, those guys are a little bit harder to beat, a little harder stats, but again, you're going to get 3 experience for this particular guy, and even a gold token as well. And lastly, when you go to the mountains, these guys are super tough. Their dice are really effective, they get more of them, their HP is higher, but you get a whole bunch of experience, and maybe even some other stuff like victory points. When you explore successfully on an area, and there's one of those little tokens there, you actually get to flip it over and get whatever it says. So that one says get a lumber. There's other ones that say to get different resources, maybe some victory points. Every once in a while, you even see something like, lose a hit point. And that is no good. There are other actions that you can do on your turn. You always get a free movement. We talked about explore. You can recover to get you some new health. And you can build using those resources that we talked about to build some new resources. So in the back here, it tells you, roads cost those resources, building new troops, mines, and even upgrade to villages. And villages, place this little guy over a mine, and now it produces twice as much. Plus it looks pretty cool too. Similar to how your hero can defeat, monsters when you're on these explorations, you can also defeat other people's stuff as well. So when you defeat their hero, you're going to get some experience. And using their stats you're fighting against their troops or their mines and villages. All the stats are listed there and what you get as a reward as well. So the victory points are going to come from, building your buildings, 1 for the mine, 2 for a village, and occasionally you might get 1 for a monster. But where the victory points are really going to come from are from these war and peace decks over here. At the end of every round, all these different cards are going to come out, and they're going to kind of give you a direction to go. But you get to choose. Do you want to go the peaceful route or the war route? So peaceful routes are usually peaceful things like, building structures will get you a point. Or, you can pay some resources to get points. This one says if you occupy certain things, you're going to get some points as well. Then there's the higher end level ones that, get a whole bunch of victory points, but you have to pay a bunch of resources to get it. On the other side of things, there's the war cards. Now, the war cards are usually kind of aggressive. So, defeating a mine might give you some points. Defeating troops. If you're able to max out all the stats on your character, you might get some points from that. So you don't really know which cards are going to come out. So each round, you kind of get a new direction to go. And that kind of makes each game different. You can't always stick to the exact same strategy every time. Maybe you want to go peaceful. Maybe you want to go war. Maybe you want to go a little bit of both. And each one kind of has a certain direction even within that. Like I mentioned earlier, their game is going to last 4 rounds, and there's 6 turns for each round, and you only get 1 action each round. So their actions are actually pretty scarce. You want to make sure you use them wisely. But at the end of the 4th and final round, everyone's going to count up all their points from, the buildings themselves, the peace and war cards, maybe if you get lucky in some of the creatures, whoever has the most points is going to win the game.
I think it's really neat, and I like how this is a very low-scoring game, because it makes every point important. So
Probably soccer. Or hockey. In basketball, points don't even matter.
They really don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, nobody's watching sports right now anyway. So, no, but it's so low scoring that when those cards come out, you can't just ignore them. You have to see what you already have going and then try to go towards that. And I think it's really neat. Like, you can't just build all the stuff wherever you want, because it might reward you later if you have built stuff in certain areas or if you had attacked in certain areas. And so I like that you have to be really strategic about how you plan that out, because every point counts.
Just like every point counts, every action counts too. You get so few of them in this game, you really have to kind of plan ahead. Like, maybe you take a turn to go explore and you get beat up a little bit. You explore again, you get beat up a little bit more. Well, then you have to spend a turn kind of healing up a little bit. Or, you explored and got some experience. Then you explored and got some more experience. Well, then you want to spend that experience to boost your character up. So you have to kind of plan ahead and use each turn wisely, so you can, at the end of the game, have, your stats maxed out, or whatever your strategy is that round based off the cards, be in the best position to score.
And I like both of these strategies in the sense that they're equal. So these are easier to get and you get fewer points for them. These are harder to get and you get more points for them. But I
think it's easier for you because this is what you go with. I think these are easier, because I think that's the whole brilliance of the game.
Yeah, you could. Well, that's the thing. We can do, whenever we play this, we really do go two different directions. And we've been within a point, maybe 2 points of each other by the time the game is over, every single time. So I like that even though we're doing different things and we're competing on a different level, it still works. It's still competitive. It's not like there's one path. It's not like if you focus on this, then there's no point of even trying this because you can't even win. Like, you can do that competitively, and I think it's a highlight to the game.
I think the card art was really cool. It was like, not quite spooky, but it fit the theme of this whole new world being discovered, and each deck kind of, the forest creatures versus the mountain and the hill creatures, everything kind of made sense. And the card art really popped for me. I like that a lot.
So there's some games that you play and you can't get everything done and it just frustrates you. And there's some games that you play where you can't get everything done that you want to, and it makes you want to play the game again. Like, I can do it this time. Let's do it again so I can get all the things done that I want to do. Okay, let's do it again so I can try it. That's how I felt with this game. I could never get accomplished what I wanted to accomplish with the amount of actions that we had, but I always felt like, well, if I play it again, then maybe I might. Maybe I can get everything done that I want to get done. And I like that it kind of like, the game is always inviting you back.
Yeah. So I think there's going to be people who compare this game to Catan, and for a couple of reasons that make sense. So, for instance, you have your starting settlements in Catan, and you have your starting mines in this. They both give you 1 resource apiece and 1 point apiece at the end of the game, and then you can upgrade your settlements to cities. It's worth 2 points at the end of the game and get you double resources. Or you can upgrade your mines into villages, and then it's worth 2 points at the end of the game, and you get double resources when you mine that. Also, it's kind of a big hex board, so there's a lot of parallels there to see. But I don't think, after having played Heroes of Heartland, I am ever going to want to play Catan again, which is high praise. I like Catan.
Yeah.
So outside of maybe some expansions, which are pretty cool, this did what Catan does, but faster.
And a little more aggressive.
A little more aggressive, less chaotic with the die rolls in terms of when you get resources and that kind of thing. Yeah. This you choose when you get your resources, when you mine for them, when you gather them, and so I just really felt like this kind of did what that did, plus. So if you want,
but not more complicated.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's not complex by any means. It's pretty smooth. You have one action each turn. It's not a lot to like. Yeah. There's a lot of choices to choose from, but it's not a lot of like complicated turns. And so it has a kind of a story arc for your character in the background of this peace and this war thing going on, and. I just think it did something new and it something cool. It had that hybrid version of both resource management and engine building versus aggressiveness and the fighting, the thematic game. That's what I'm trying to say. And it just kind of did that blend really, really well. And it let people kind of choose their path too in a sandbox style format.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Actually, I liked it after the first time we played it, and that doesn't always happen to me. I almost like all the games that we play after the first time, but then sometimes after we play it for the first time, I want to play it right again. That doesn't happen a lot. You know that. You know that doesn't happen a lot. I play it one time, I'm like, okay, on to the next thing. But I wanted to play this one again because of, like I said earlier, it was this cliffhanger. This is the reason why when I start a book, my family disappears. I start it from beginning to end because I have to know what happens. And this is what it happened whenever a game ended. It was like this major cliffhanger and I needed to know what was going to happen next. And so I was drawn to the game to keep on coming back to it. And it was a lot of fun.
Yep, we enjoyed Heroes of Heartland. We don't know what the distribution is going to look like for this or anything like that yet, but stay tuned. Keep your eye out for Heroes of Heartland.
Don't forget to stay tuned until after the review to hear our pounds and inches update. But until then, make sure to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. You can also follow us on Facebook under Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. You can find us on Instagram under Ryan and Bethany, and you can find us on Twitter under Ryan and Bethany 1.
Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Thanks so much for staying tuned to the very end for our Pounds and Inches segment. This is where Ryan and I talk about the things that we're doing to achieve better health in life and sometimes some of the areas we're failing. But not today! Not today.
Oh my goodness.
Some of you may know, if you've been following us for any amount of time, that I like to run. I haven't run in the past couple of months, but this week I finally set out running again. And 2 years ago when I was running, I got attacked by a red-winged blackbird because they are the devil's creature. And
they should be in this game.
Yeah, they should be in this game. And I mean, to be honest, it scared me. Like, I stopped running outside for almost a year. I got a gym membership and everything because it scared me that much. Anyway, so I'm running outside and I know that red-winged blackbirds live in this area because it's where I work and I run on my lunches. And so I'm just looking out for them. Sure enough, I hear this dude and he's squawking at me. By the way, it always is a dude because they're protecting their mating grounds. Anyway, so I hear this dude and he's squawking at me and he starts swooping down at me. So I'm just waving my hand and I'm telling him to leave me alone. I'm saying, you can't peck me. He's trying to get my eyes in the sun and then swoop down at me, but he doesn't get me because I'm going like this, like a crazy woman. And I won because A, wasn't afraid because I knew it was coming. B, I kept on running. And C, he didn't peck me. I'm the hero.
All right, so were you the peace or was that the war? Which part was that?
He tried to war, but I was peaceful.
Okay. The yelling, peaceful yelling.
I was peacefully yelling. I didn't shoot him.
That's true. You don't have a gun, so that would have been hard. But everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.